Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. We are Third Coast Percussion, coming to you live from our studio in Chicago. I'm Rob, here with my colleagues David, Peter, and Sean. And today in our studio, we are going inside the composer's studio with our special guest, Jlin. She's here to talk with us about her artistic journey, about her creative process, and about Perspective, the project that she created for Third Coast Percussion. That is featured on our album, Perspectives, which came out last week on Say D Records, which we're very excited about. And we're going to be playing some of that music live as well. And Jlin will also be taking questions at the end of the show. We'll have a little Q&A. So if you have any questions for Jlin at any time during the show, you can drop those questions in the chat, or you can email them to info@thirdcoastpercussion.com. As with all of our past live streams, we ask as you're watching tonight that you take just a moment to think about what you might have paid to see a show like this live in person. You can visit us at thirdcoastpercussion.com/donate and donate the price of a ticket. Help us continue to present programs like this and develop exciting new projects like this. So our guest today is Jlin Patton, better known as Jlin. Originally from Gary, Indiana, Jlin is an electronic musician at the forefront of the IDM, or intelligent dance music, world. Her unique sound has roots in Chicago's footwork scene and influences ranging from Igor Stravinsky to Nina Simone, Sade to Philip Glass. Rolling Stone called her America's most acclaimed new electronic composer, and Pitchfork calls her a one-woman genre, praising her 2017 album Black Origami as a gorgeous and overwhelming piece of musical architecture, an epic treatise on where rhythm comes from and where it can go. Her expanding musical universe has led to collaborations with Kronos Quartet, choreographer Wayne McGregor, Bjork, William Basinski, Holly Herndon, and now Third Coast Percussion. We're thrilled to have her join us today in conversation with our own David Skidmore. Please join me in welcoming Jlin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is fun.
Oh, what a journey, right?
That's right. Yeah. So speaking of journey, I want to start at the very beginning of your journey.
Okay.
Okay. So you were born and raised in Gary, Indiana.
Correct.
Still live in the area.
Yeah.
Of course, now you are all the things Rob mentioned, an acclaimed composer and producer.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about your musical path, like how you got to be there. Because you were, if I'm not mistaken, you were in architectural engineering and mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
You studied both of those for a time,
Mm-hmm.
and then took a very different turn and started doing music.
Yes.
So how does that happen? How does a
Oh.
mathematician become a
Oh, my
revered
goodness.
electronic musical producer?
Well, it actually started, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was running away from myself, not realizing I was running to myself, though. What happened was I was at Purdue, and I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be in class, ultimately at the end of this, I dropped out, and I didn't tell my mom. And I didn't tell, my parents didn't know. And so like when it was time for me to graduate, I didn't. So I didn't. But what ended up happening in the process was when I was supposed to be in class, I would go to the library and I would I was teaching myself calculus 2 at the time, and I was doing like 4 hours of that. So I would do that for 4 hours, and then the next 4 hours, I was teaching myself how to use FL Studio. And I was making, or calling myself making music at that time. And it turned into a passion. It was like really my escape, because I hated I didn't like my majors at all. And I just didn't like the direction that it was going for me. And what ended up happening was I didn't, in not telling and when my mother found out that, I wasn't graduating, she wasn't upset because I wasn't, graduating, or I didn't feel like school was for me, but she was more upset that I didn't trust her to tell her what was going on. So
because your mother and your family are very important to you.
Yeah, my mother, my dad, it's with our relationship now, you would have never thought that, now I even look back at myself saying, it's so crazy that I did something like that back then, because like it's like this actually got us to be closer in the process of that happening. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a matter of, of course you have to, I have to gain, my parents' trust back and gain my mother's trust back. But like I said, at the end, it definitely brought us closer.
Yeah.
And what happened was, as I was continuing making music, so after all of that had happened with school, I was making music, and then that's when I went into, fast forward in 2009, 2010, I made Erotic Heat.
Right.
Right. And
So-
that changed everything.
Yeah, I want to get to Erotic Heat, especially because it ties into a topic that I really wanted to touch on with you, which is the influence of footwork. Footwork being, for anyone who's not familiar, a genre of up-tempo electronic music, somewhat derived from house music, very much born here in Chicago, where we
Yes.
are right now.
Yes.
I know that you had a lot of correspondence with some other prominent footwork producers like DJ Rashad
Yeah.
or RP Boo.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know that you've also sort of, is footwork a part of what you do, or was it a part of what you do, or how do you see it?
I think now where it goes, it's a part of, it's always going to be a part of me, because it's just, I think it's a part of my journey. It's not something that I can leave behind, but it's always something that I can always go back to. Like when I feel like I want to go back to the basics of something, I always go back and kind of go that route.
So is that the style of music that you were making when you were in the library
Yeah,
at Purdue?
like, 'cause I was
skipping your mathematics classes.
Totally skipping everything. And then I remember saying, like, I'm a footwork producer.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a footwork artist. And it was just like, I was so just hell bent on this is what I was doing. And I remember my mother actually, and this is not something I talk about often, but she used to make book trailers, and I would make the music for those book trailers. And nobody knew. Some of them are still on YouTube. You just have to find them.
Whoa. All right. Everyone's got their job. Expect everyone on YouTube right now to be scouring the internet for these.
And so actually, it was so funny because I actually started making scores first before I started making footwork tracks. So when I would work on her book trailers, I remember her saying to me, she was like, "You're a composer," and I totally rejected this title. Like, I was like, no, I'm a footwork producer. I don't want to be a composer. And you know how they say mother's always right. So like fast forward, like 6 years later, well, probably a little bit more than that, but I remember being at Sadler's Wells and having to, performing with Wayne, and we're premiering Autobiography, and sure enough, I walked to my dressing room, and what does it say? Composer Geraldine Patton.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so.
Your mom was right.
Your mom was right.
So you mentioned Erotic Heat, and that is a track that you made. You made it in 2010.
Yeah, 2010, yes.
And it seems like it opened a lot of doors for you. I know it was
Yeah.
featured on Bangs and Works Volume 2, which was a compilation on the record label Planet Move, which is now your record label that you
Yes.
put out on. And then it was discovered by Rick Owens, the fashion designer, and became
Yes.
part of his
Yes.
show. So how did all that happen? How did Planet Move discover the music? How did Rick discover it?
I randomly threw Erotic Heat up on Facebook, and Mike Paradinas heard it, and he says, I have to have this on Bangs and Works Volume 2. Cool. And actually that title, which is so funny, because Bangs and Works actually came up with that title.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I actually came up with that title, Bangs and Works. And so when it was, when Erotic Heat was on, I put it up on Facebook, and I remember I was so scared to put it up because I'm like, this doesn't sound like footwork, but I couldn't ignore it. I said, I can't lie, like I don't have this track. So I put it up, and I loved it, but I was so nervous about how people would respond to it, but I said, I don't care. So when I put it up, like everybody responded to it, like immediately, like, what is this? I've never heard anything like this, And it's still on my Facebook page to this day, which is funny because like all the comments are there. And then I remember like Mike's comments, like, I have to have this on Bangs and Works Volume 2. And that track ended up on there. And then I had another track called Asylum. They both ended up on that compilation.
Wonderful.
Yes.
What a funny thing that you can go back on Facebook as like a
Yeah, for the reference point.
a reference point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is something good about Facebook.
Yes, yes.
So then now we're building up to your first full-length album, Dark Energy, described by Pitchfork as containing all the hallmarks of the heart-racing house music subgenre. We're talking about footwork, frenzied pacing, arrhythmic kick drums, a graphic command of blank space, but executed with a clear-eyed self-determination. So let's hear an excerpt from Erotic Heat from your debut album, Dark Energy. Amazing.
I go back and listen to that now and goes, who is that person?
Well, you made that over a decade ago now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. But that's why I say, like, who is that person? Like, honestly, because I think sometimes I find myself realizing, I said, it's like, I feel like I had so much fight back then, and I have to go and find that fight now. Yeah.
That's so interesting. So,
Yeah.
so this album comes out, and universally praised on a ton of best of lists. How does it change your life? Like, what happens?
Oh my goodness. Well, my first music opportunity was Paris Fashion Week, which is like
that's a good first
That's a
gig.
good first start. It was a very unusual, very great first start, and then it just like I took me and my mother went to Paris for the show, and I remember it opened up so many doors, and then I remember like Mike coming to me and saying, hey, you got to put out an album because you have so much material. And then he said, I probably would only need, he said, just give me like 4 new tracks, but you have an album. Cool. And so I said, okay. So I went and I made these 4 tracks, and then that was Dark Energy. And I remember I guess like when I go back and I listen to those things, now I was like doing things that I was digging. Like I can hear me digging, and I could feel that dig. And so that's where I use that sometimes as a palette of, that's why I love to create from blank spaces versus something that's already set up. Like I do so much better on a blank canvas because I have to dig because I know that it's there, it's just I have to pull it out.
But the work of starting from scratch every time is what makes it happen.
That's what makes it happen, yeah, because I feel like when I'm given a thing, it's not that I can't work within, because, you know, like, of course, like with autobiography, you work within a certain terrain, but it's that when somebody just kind of lets you go free, like, you know, like you all did, Wayne did, everybody pretty much has done it. They're like, everybody I've worked with has let me kind of run wild. So
we know what you do. So. Stay out of her way. Just let her make great music.
But yeah, so it is. I think I do so much better. Because I can pull the entirety of me out.
Right.
Yeah.
So your first album, Dark Energy, has all of this, like you figuring everything out, digging, really, truly starting from nothing.
Yeah.
So what was it then like to make your follow-up album, Black Origami?
Oh man, I was so tired of Dark Energy by the time Black Origami even was. I was so ready for my second album. Like when everybody was like really just enthralled with Dark Energy, and I was just like, okay,
Moving on.
It got please. It used to get to the point where like my mom would play, and I'd be like, Ma, please, I can't, I cannot. So, but it like we would be in the car, and I'm just like, yeah, Ma, no. But like I feel that I remember I wrote Nandi before Dark Energy had even come out.
Right.
So Nandi's like I don't know what number on but I know it's on Black Origami. And I remember writing the piece, and I was just like, I really want this on my second album. And Nandi was actually the track that started it. Most people think it was Black Origami itself. And I said, no, actually Nandi was the first track I wrote for that, yeah.
Amazing. Well, we actually have Black Origami, the track queued up.
Okay.
So let's hear a little excerpt of that one now.
Okay.
Always love that track so much.
Thank you.
You know, it's funny. It's funny the cycles that you have to go in as an artist, right? Like you were, Dark Energy came out, and you were already saying, "What's next?"
Yeah.
But the thing that you don't have to do, I suppose, but that you're sort of compelled to do is tour the album, tour the album, tour the album.
Right.
Meanwhile, you're thinking, what's next? So that pacing has got to be so hard to get right.
Yeah, the pacing is definitely, I'm definitely out of practice because of COVID.
Right.
But yeah, the pacing is, you have to get it has to be precise. I think when I have those moments to really write, my favorite moments of writing are when they come out of nowhere versus when I actually sat down. So those are rare moments. But I feel like those are always my best tracks. Like Blue Eye, I wasn't planning on writing that piece. Like for Wayne, I had Carbon 12 too, another track. I wasn't planning on writing that, and then it came out. The funny thing was, like with Carbon 12 though, the story behind that is I lost the entire track. I had to go back and make it from memory.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
But it actually sounded better than the first version.
So cool. Yeah. That's that digging, you know?
That's digging. Yeah, I was like, what was the? I was so sad I lost it. I started writing it when I was in Poland, and then I came home. I lost it in Poland. I came home. I had it remembered, like kind of in memory, what it sounded like, and it came out like 20 times better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to hear more about Carbon 12. I did want to take a brief moment just to remind everyone who's watching. I'm having the best time asking Jlin questions, but if you have any questions that I'm not asking, we'll have a live Q&A with Jlin at the end of tonight's program. So if you have a question, drop it in the comments of the YouTube video at any time, or email it to info@thirdcoastpercussion.com. Now back to Carbon 12. This was a part of the project that you did with Wayne McGregor, the choreographer.
Right.
Sort of maybe at least from what I see, the next major project became your next album. How did all that come about? How did you get in contact with Wayne?
We got connected through Unsound Productions, and they reached out to Wayne and just kind of pitched my music to him. And when he heard it, he was like, "This is who I want to make the music for Autobiography." And so we actually met in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, we met downtown in Chicago. He was staying downtown at the time. It was 2016, October, I remember. And I actually almost got put out of the hotel during the process because I guess I wasn't dressed appropriately. I showed up kind of like this. And it was so funny because when he was coming down the stairs and he shouts Jlin. So apparently I'm thinking he probably was in the presidential suite, more than likely. And so he's coming down the stairs, he's like, Jlin, and I'm like, hey. And then it went from like, hey, are you lost, to do you want a glass of wine?
Wow.
And
All right.
So no, that's the second time in my life that has happened, which is it's funny. But no, I like to share stories like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that we met and we just started to go over, like he told me what his objective was for Autobiography and what it was about, which is based on his DNA, his genome, his genome, and it was quite a bit. Like he had actually sent me his DNA strands ran. I think it was 150 pages I have still to this day.
Wow. So you could make a Wayne McGregor in a bottle if we needed one right now.
So, well, maybe through sound.
Okay, got it.
So like I went and what I really wanted to do with Wayne is I wanted to study him. And I wanted, like, from his personality to how he reacted to things. So I made it my business to go on YouTube and I would watch his rehearsals and I would talk to him as much as I could, and that's how I started writing.
Amazing.
And I changed my sleeping pattern to do that entire album. I used to wake up at 2 a.m. and work till 6, and I did that. I was making that and black origami at the same time, which I would advise no one to ever do. But don't ever do that. But yes, I did. I got autobiography done in 3 months, and I think black origami was 4. Wow. So yeah, and then toured both of them simultaneously.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Wow, that's that rhythm that you got to find as an artist, right?
So it'd be like one night autobiography, next night black origami show, autobiography, black origami show, both in the same night. Like it was, it was crazy. I was on the road for, I think in 17 for 10 months. Jeez. And I was only coming home for days at a time, like maybe 3 days at a time. It was hectic.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That was around the time when I first contacted you, and now I understand
that's
why you
when
were
now
like,
you understand.
Sounds good, not right now.
Yeah, right. I was like, I can't handle another thing right now.
I can't believe you actually even responded to the email. But,
no, absolutely. I had to. When I saw percussion, I was like, yes, yes.
Well, so my colleagues and I were already totally obsessed with your music all the way back to Dark Energy. I actually remember the first time I heard it because we were on tour in New York, and I read a Pitchfork review of the album, and I just put it on because I do that every now and then, and I was going for a run at Central Park, and I nearly I think I nearly gave myself a heart attack because I was just like, so, and I got back to the hotel room, and immediately I was like, guys, you gotta check this out. Someday. So we were already huge fans, but then this track, Carbon 12, which you mentioned, came out on Autobiography, and it very prominently features the marimba, this instrument here, which is a part of just about every Third Coast Percussion show.
Yes.
How did you come across that sound? Like, what was it that drew you to that?
I think I recall tweeting. I said I think you could get like all the girls if you play the marimba.
Sad to report, it's not entirely true. But you can get some really. We're all very happily partnered, by the way.
Yes, definitely. Yes, right, no, definitely.
Not all.
No, but no, it was just like I find the marimba to be one of the most elegant pieces, but yet so the attack, the clarity, the beauty. The just sultry, I find the marimba to be, and it plays so many roles infinitely at one time. So it's like when I can capture that, I'm very happy.
Awesome. All right, let's hear an excerpt from Carbon 12 off of Jlin's album Autobiography. Beautiful.
Thank you. I remember sending you that.
I remember receiving it.
Yes.
And saying,
I said,
"Oh wow, this is going to be great."
Yes, I was like, David, I think this is something you're going to really be happy about.
That's right. I actually still have what you sent me, which I think wasn't even the completed track.
It wasn't the completed
I've got a whole
track.
Jlin folder of the stuff you sent me. It's
Oh
great.
my God.
So at this point in your career, you're obviously you've got tons of attention and support from the electronic music scene, but you're also seeing other artists reach out to you, such as Wayne McGregor, the choreographer, but also artists in the contemporary classical music world, which is really the world where Third Coast Percussion lives. And one of the first classical ensembles, I believe this is right, to reach out to you to commission a work for you was Kronos Quartet.
Correct.
Who are complete legends in our field, of course.
Yes.
So how did you approach writing a string quartet?
I literally just, like, David Harrington, I love David. He's just like, so many great Davids, man. So many great Davids. No, David Harrington is such a gem of a person. He's just a sweetheart of a person. And he just, you know, he wanted me to, they wanted me to write a piece, and he just, you know, told me, he's like, Jlin, I just really want you to be yourself. And, you know, that's all I had to hear from that point. And we made it work. And I remember going to see them premiere the piece. Wow. I forgot where we were. Oh my God, that's horrible. But we were in San Francisco. I do remember that. Actually, I want to say, were we at the university? Don't quote me, but I know we were in San Francisco, and they had done the show, and it was absolutely beautiful. Like, and it's something when you see something that you wrote played back to you, I can't describe that feel. It's like when you all, you know, it's like when you watch it played back, it's like a feeling. It's so priceless, and it's such you just try to capture every millisecond of that moment. Yeah.
Amazing. I want to get back to that topic, but let's hear a little bit of the piece you wrote for Kronos. This is an excerpt from Little Black Book. So powerful.
Yeah,
Who knew a string quartet could do that?
Yeah, they executed it so well.
For anyone who's interested, you know, so much of your music is available on Spotify, Apple Music, all this sort of thing. If you're interested in hearing all of Little Black Book, I know that there's a wonderful video of it on Kronos Quartet's YouTube page.
Yes.
So you can find the rest of the piece there. And at long last, we've gotten to the point in your history where now you're making a piece for Third Coast Percussion.
Yes. Yes.
So you composed 7 pieces for us. The set is called Perspective.
Yes.
And it is on our brand new album, which just happens to be sitting on this table right here. We've entitled the album Perspectives because this idea of perspective in your piece captured our imagination and made us think of how the whole album holds together. And you've spoken about, and you were alluding to this a little bit before, this way that the difference between writing electronic music where you are composer and performer versus writing for Kronos Quartet or Third Coast Percussion or Alarmo Sound or any of these other ensembles where you're writing and someone else is performing it from their perspective. So what I am interested to hear is whether it's Kronos' piece or our piece, have there been moments where you've been surprised by what you hear played back to you?
Oh yeah, that's the best part. That's why I always, I'm like, if you want to arrange it the way I wrote it, that's fine. But if you don't, please surprise me. I love surprises. Yeah, you all have done, both you all and Kronos have just executed and done it so well. That's like when before we started and we were listening to some of the like my songs of perspective, and I was like, man, y'all rhythm switches are way better than mine.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I was surprised. That is always what I'm going for, which is, that takes me to my mantra, my CPU. I remember when I first told you about that, and you were like, what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
can you recite that for everyone?
Yes.
I think it's words to live by.
Yes. So as a composer, I always operate under CPU, which stands for me, clean, precise, and unpredictable. And what started that for me is being in so many festivals, and you're listening it's kind of like the same rhythm for like a while, and it's just do, 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 do. And that's cool, I'm not knocking it. But like what happens is, after so long, it's like everybody's kind of like, you have the drop is coming in the song, and it's coming. And then for me, it's like when it actually gets here, it's disappointing. It's like, oh, the drop, there it is. And then it actually showed up. It actually showed up. Okay. So for me, and then when I would get on stage to perform, like people were like, oh my God, whoa, this is like amazing. And I'm kind of like, it's cool, but like, I think it's amazing because you've been kind of listening to the same pace for the last 6 hours. And then like when I switch the pace, it's like, oh, this is great. And it's like, not to undercut myself, but it's, yeah, we've kind of been on the same trail for like 6 hours. So that's where CPU came from.
Wonderful, yeah. And that sort of willingness to be surprised and love of being surprised is exactly what we connect with.
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like like when you are, right? It's that priceless moment where you all surprise yourself, or that happy accident that happens where it's like, no, keep that,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's like, yeah, no, keep that in there. Or what was that? I don't know. Okay, play it back and we'll figure it out what that was.
Totally.
Yeah.
So what you essentially wrote were 14 pieces, 7 pieces from your perspective, and then there are the 7 pieces that are from Third Coast perspective. So actually, what we thought would be fun is now we'll play Embryo. So this is the title track of your latest EP, just came out.
Yeah.
It's also one of the pieces that you wrote that's a part of Perspective. And what we put together is a little excerpt where you hear the opening of Embryo from Jlin's perspective, and then the opening of Embryo from Third Coast perspective. So you hear back to back the sort of electronic and acoustic realization of this piece.
Yes.
Such a cool piece, such a cool piece. We'll play the entirety of Embryo in just a moment here.
I like your version better.
I don't know about that.
I like your version better.
I like them both equally. They're like children.
Yeah. Siblings.
Right. Despite all the hardships of the past 2 years, we talked about COVID just a little bit. We feel so fortunate because we've had the opportunity to perform your music a number of times.
Yeah.
Sometimes in this room as a part of a live stream, but also in live performances. You were there at the world premiere in Washington, D.C. That was the very last show we played before COVID. We got in
literally right in the millisecond of, yeah.
Just under the wire. And your music has also become, that you compose for us, has also become a part of our multimedia, multidisciplinary project called Metamorphosis, which includes choreography and performances by Lil Buck, John Boogz, Cameron Murphy, and Quentin Robinson. Really amazing movement artists. That show, Metamorphosis, we're going to perform at Carnegie Hall in January, which we're very excited about.
Yes.
And I'm sure, I have no doubt that we'll continue to perform your music for so many years to come. And I can't wait till you write the next piece for us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was about to say, ask me to write again.
Jlin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I love you guys. You know, you all are family.
I have one more question for you, but really quickly, we just wanted to say to everyone watching, first of all, as a reminder, there's going to be a live Q&A after the performance portion of the show. So we'll have one more question for Jlin, short changeover, then a live performance of 2 of the pieces from Perspective, and then we'll come back for a live Q&A.
Cool.
So if you have questions and you're watching, put them in the chat below the video or email them to info@thirdcoastpercussion.com. And if you're watching, there are a number of ways to support great work like the work that Jlin did for Third Coast Percussion. If you're enjoying the live stream, you can consider making a donation in the amount of what maybe you would have paid to see an event like this live. If you've streamed our album, thank you so much for doing so. Most of the revenue that comes from streaming music does not go to the artists. So if you enjoyed the album, but you don't want a CD in your house, consider making a donation in the cost of a CD. Or if you just love this project, the idea of this project, and the other projects that Third Coast does, your donation goes to support that as well. So thank you very much for that. So Jlin, last question.
Yes.
What's next? What are you working on now? What are you excited about?
Oh, goodness. Whew, I am actually working on my 3rd album, yes. And I'll say the title, so this is like exclusive.
Awesome.
So the name of it is A Coma, which is Ghanaian for the heart. Yes. So it is, I'm already percussive, so you kind of know what to expect, but they're gonna be different paces, yeah. So it's gonna be, yeah. This one is, I feel that I have gained maturity and still evolving, but I can feel, and I can hear the maturity in my work now. Yeah, starting to take, it's like preteen. It's like preteen, but it's there.
Well, I know everyone watching feels the way that I do. We can't wait to hear it. So we're so excited for whatever you come up with next. And for right now, we're so excited to get to play 2 more of your pieces for you. So we'll take a really brief pause, reset the room just a little bit, and then we'll come back to hear 2 pieces from Perspective. The first will be the piece called Fourth Perspective, and after that, we'll play Embryo. Thank you, Jlin.
All right, thank you so much. We've got one more piece by Jlin we're going to perform in just a moment. You may have noticed as well, we have a small but mighty live studio audience in our rehearsal space with us tonight. This is the first time we've tried this. Having a great time, and it's very rewarding for us and a lot of fun to both feel the great energy coming from the internet and from the very same room. We'll have one more piece by Jlin in just a minute. After that, we've got our Q&A with Jlin as well. So if you have questions, make sure to drop those in the chat or email them to info@thirdcoastpercussion.com. Also want to take just a moment to give a shout out to our very own master of the live stream, Colin Campbell. Our production manager is managing all of the video and sound, everything you're experiencing at home is Colin's work, and we couldn't do these sort of live stream events without him. Also, big thanks to the rest of our team, Rebecca McDaniel and Reba Caffarelli, for allowing us to do all the things we do. And also big thanks to all of you who have donated tonight as you're watching. We really appreciate, these projects are so exciting and fun for us to do, but really everything we do is only possible because of your support, whether it is commissioning great artists like Jlin to create the future of percussion music, doing live performances, recordings like Perspectives, all of this stuff, it happens because of your support. So if you're watching and donating, we really appreciate that. You can visit us at thirdcoastpercussion.com/donate. We can also take donations via PayPal or Venmo. We've got information about that that'll be up on your screen from time to time as well. All right, up next, we've got Embryo, the piece that David and Jlin were talking about earlier during the interview. And along with our live performance, we have a very special treat this evening. We have this great video that was made of this project in the very early days, actually, of a project that we were touring called Metamorphosis. Before we had ever performed the show live, this collaborative project with Movement Art Is, we were putting it together, and we have this great video that's created by videographer David Javier. There's also video work in here by Dakota Sillyman, and the video features choreography by Movement Art Is co-founders Lil Buck and John Boogz, performed by two incredible movement artists, Quentin Robinson and Ron Myles. So we're excited to be able to share that with you this evening, and we'll be playing Embryo live here in our studio. Thanks so much.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again, Jlin. This has been so much fun.
Absolutely.
It's just like such a joy to play this music. It's so much fun.
Thank you.
And it's inspiring every time we come back to it.
Yes, you all do it so well.
Oh, thank you. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. It's been a blast. If you haven't donated already and you feel so obliged, please visit our donation link on the screen below and donate what you think might be appropriate for a ticket of an event of this sort. Any support that you can give will help us to keep doing stuff like this, keep having amazing artists like Jlin collaborate with us and write us music, and keep us going for the future.
Yes.
Okay, so my favorite part of the evening, questions from the audience. So we have a live audience here with us, and Rebecca's collecting some questions from them now, but I might start with a question from our online friends.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yes.
Pat asks, what is that electronic sound at the beginning of Embryo?
Wow. If some synth that it sounds like I tweaked, and just honestly, that's what it sounds like. Something that sounds like that I tweaked, and then I must have liked it and was like, I'm gonna keep it like this. It's a synth sound. I don't remember exactly what it was. It sounds like I might have used a VST called Silent, and I may have used that. I think I did actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, I could be wrong though.
When you sent us that composition, we were obsessed with that same
sound
that Alexandra was asking about, and it actually took us several tries to try to emulate it. We did all sorts of things, like trying to take boom whackers, like big plastic tubes, and smacking them on the marimba.
I remember when I was here, you all were trying stuff. Like, I mean, I think we pulled out so much stuff trying to.
I think I had a jar harp at one point. And Rob led the charge, and he had to throw out a lot of ideas. But we're really happy with where we got to.
Yes. Yeah,
cool. I might ask David to help with this one. Jenny asks, was there water splashing in that piece? And I think she's probably referring to the water bowls that are at the top of Derivative that Peter plays.
Yes.
And so we have these bowls of water. They're just metal mixing bowls.
Yeah.
And to create that Jlin warble sound, we fill up the metal bowls with water so that when you strike them, it creates that unique kind of pitch bendy feeling. Maybe David could demonstrate those a little bit.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
Let's see, here's a question from Riley. Does your academic background in math and engineering play a role in your music?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I think, math is a love language. So music is a love language. They're married. So that's just a union that you can't break. That's just married. That's the best I can put it. Yeah, that's a union you can't break. No.
Wonderful. Let's see. From Linda to Jlin. Did you dabble in music in your early life, like in high school? Wondering how you got into music.
Actually, I've never shared this, but I want to share it now.
Exclusive, everyone.
My dad actually, he would DJ parties when he was younger, and then he also used to go to the beach. He's born and raised in Chicago, and he would go and he would play like the congos or the bongos, and they would play on the beach. So I think honestly, even though this was way before I was born, but I guess like somewhere in there that rubbed off, rubbed off. So and then when I was a kid, I used to listen, like my parents had such a massive record collection. and we would dance on Fridays and after church on Sunday. So my mom would put the records on and we would dance until it was like basically time for dinner, and they would just play all these different records. My dad is a jazz lover, and I think that comes into play when it comes to my music, because a lot of it is very polyrhythmic. And so it's like I have this thing of like when I'm listening to like something like with Dizzy Gillespie, and there's the cello in this ear and the drum in that ear, and then I was like, I would love to try to emulate like some of these things of some of the jazz concepts in like my work. And like my mother, I love like Bootsy Collins. Like Bootsy Collins is like, that's the man. So yeah, it's just like just growing up in the house, always listening to music, always being surrounded by, whether you were doing chores or whatever it was, just in the car. And yeah, I think that's where that.
A musical
just
household.
A musical household.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Sticking with early life and maybe some advice that you would give to someone at that stage in their development. This is from Alexandra, who asks, do you have any advice for first-time young composers or music creators, or maybe people who are identifying themselves as a producer and not yet embracing that composer label, or musicians who are creating and putting music out there but don't yet have the confidence that they need to feel good about putting their music out there?
Yeah, I definitely don't always be authentically you. Always be authentically you, because that is where everything is. Don't be afraid of your vulnerability. It's a power, not a weakness. It's a power.
Yeah.
And so dive in that. You have everything you need inside of you. You just have to find it. And don't let anybody stop you from doing that.
Ooh. I should have saved that one for last. I'm inspired. I gotta run out the door. We do have some questions. Oh, Pedro asks, does TCP dance too? The answer is yes, but very poorly. Ryan asks Jlin, what is your favorite movement? Oh, this is such a hard question. What is your favorite movement from perspective? From Third Coast perspective. So which one of after your compositions, you handed them over to us and we sent them back to you. Do you have a favorite? And why?
Oh my God. Probably. My God, that's rough. Probably derivative, I think. But it's a fight between derivative and obscure. It's a fight. They're right neck and neck with each other.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. Because the way you all play, which by the way, my mom is a big fangirl, but and she's watching. But the way that you all play is so magical, because you can see that you all can feel each other as you're playing, and that's rare. Because most people, they just kind of play on you're almost playing on cue, but it's like you all can improvise at any given moment, and I think it's rare these days. And so it comes out not only when you perform live, but it comes out, when you all have a composition, and I love it. I really do.
We love it too. That when you came up and joined us in the studio to record Perspective, it was just a great memory for us.
Yes, it was. Oh, yeah. Do you remember me and you had all the bows on the floor?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, so when we first started this project together,
yes.
Jlin came and she sampled a lot of our sounds.
Yes.
And we discovered very quickly that this is not a soundproof building.
Right. Every time we tried, we were trying to get the bows.
Yeah, we were trying to get these beautiful singing bows.
Beautiful singing bows. And every time as soon as we put the mallet in the bow, a helicopter came, a train came, like a
It's like, is that a seagull?
Is that a
What is
seagull?
that?
What is that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 5 ambulances, a tsunami. It was like just crazy stuff happening. Yes.
Good times.
Yes.
Well, it was good to go to CRC to do it.
Yeah.
Raymond asks, what kind of visual associations do you have for the music that you create? Dancers, abstractions, or is it just purely sound?
Oh no. Usually, most of the pieces I make are from movement of some sort. It can be the way a person blinks their eyes. It can be the way that a person walks, the tone of a pitch of somebody's voice. And I remember writing an entire piece based off of there's the scene when in Memoirs of a Geisha, when she first becomes the geisha, she does her first dance, and then I had an entire piece written in my head. And I was like, I have to get this out somehow. Yeah. So just those moments, watching old rehearsals of Igor Stravinsky's, like when he would have like everybody, you know, like in the room, and it's like a full-blown rehearsal when him like 88 people in the room going through all these different instruments, every sound, and it taking hours to do because there's 88 people in the room, and finding the perfect pitch of each instrument. Like, yeah, I think those dig moments where you really have to dig it out and pull out what you know it's there. Yeah, I love those moments.
I love having these conversations with you because we always seem to, like, one moment be talking about footwork, and then the next moment talking about Igor Stravinsky, and the next moment talking about Paris Fashion Week.
Yes.
So it's amazing. And this question, I think, relates to it, and it's the question that I wanted to ask too. So I'm glad Sarah asks,
Okay.
what music do you listen to now?
Oh,
Does other music inspire your composing? And for me, like, what are you listening to right now?
Right now, my thing right now, I cannot get Curtis Mayfield, Give Me Your Love. I can't shake it if I just play it in my head, and all I can see in my head is Eartha Kitt dancing to it, like when it first comes on. I know it's the wildest the things that go on in my mind, the wildest things, but sometimes I like to share them because those are the things, like when you hear my music, those are the things that they make those things that I see makes that come out. Like, so, but yeah, I'm listening to Curtis Mayfield right now. Now it's playing in my head. But I love Sade. Everybody knows I love Sade. But I recently went back to Philip Glass, The Hours, that score. Another score is The Queen's Gambit. It's like a big one of mine. Yeah. That's
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, now that's going in my head. Too
Yeah.
bad Colin doesn't have all that queued up for us. We just have a few more if it's okay.
Yeah,
Can we keep going for a little bit?
please.
Do you have a preference between creating music for live performance by instrumentalists or creating purely electronic music?
No, actually, I love it both ways because for no pun intended, but both perspectives are important. Yeah, they're both important. They're crucial to the work. And I think for so long, media has tried to separate the two. And I have heard the battle of, that's not real music. And I've heard it all. But I just really think it's just a fear of something new. But I also have such an appreciation for, like, music theory and, and those kinds of things, because they all play a role. They really do. It's just how you bring it out. That's why I always say, like, everything you need is, you have it already. It's just really, to me, it's like, it's like more of I have to remember, and then I can bring it out. Yeah. Yeah.
We have a lot of people who are interested in your comments before about the relationship between math and music and how they're married. And maybe I'll kind of paraphrase some of these questions and see if it might spark one more thought from you.
Yeah.
So does anything from your time alone in the library studying math, has that carried forward to your art today? Or could you speak about how the relationship of mathematics and music relates to you, if you're comfortable saying just you personally?
Yeah. Math has always been, I used to get bullied in school, so math was kind of always my escape from something. I don't know, from so many things. I remember being in high school and I would sit at the table by myself and work on math problems. Or I remember my math teacher, Miss Lee at the time, I would be like 6 lessons ahead. And so I'm like in the next chapter, my class is still back here, and I'm like, Miss Lee, can you tell me about, I would be at her door before she got there in the morning. And she's like, Geraldine, just let me sip my coffee and I got you, just hold tight. So
shout out to Miss Lee.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, big shout out to Miss Lee. But I think I just was so, I was failing math at one point. And what happened was my cousin actually came in and made it click for me. My cousin Jesse, he came over one day when he would come over on Sundays and he would tutor me in math. And then one day it just clicked, but it clicked so much so that it became like an obsession and a love, and it never went away. And it just, there would be times when we would be watching movies, and I was in calculus AP at the time, my senior year, and we would be watching movies downstairs in the house, and I couldn't figure out a math problem beforehand. And I'm sitting there watching this movie, and my mind is calculating this problem, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I got it, and I just shoot off upstairs in my room and go solve this problem. And my mom's like, it got to the point where first she was like, what is wrong with her? But then it was like, nobody even paid attention to it anymore because she knew why I was running upstairs.
We're not pausing the movie
Yeah,
anymore.
we're not, not at all. No, not at all. And it was usually always the plot. Right when the plot was about to take place, I could figure out the problem and I'm gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you still work on mathematics?
Yeah. I was actually, in school. Like literally, like for just I started back school, basically. Yeah, and I this time my focus is on math. So versus like all the other things that I wasn't interested in. Yeah. Not that they're not good subjects, but for me, no. I am a math lover, and I also found out that Philip Glass is a mathematician, and that just made my smile just go.
There's so many interesting connections between the different voices in this album.
Yeah.
And Philip is also on this album. Philip's music is also on this album.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating.
Yeah. The hours just, when I first heard it, I was like, how do you write something like this? Like, wow. Yeah, it's big wow moments. But math and that's a union you can't break. No.
I got 2 more for you.
Okay.
That's right. Do the names of your pieces come first, or does the composition come first and then you name them?
It depends. It's a feeling. I never can call it. Sometimes it's like, I got the name, and then other times it's like I have no idea what to name this piece. So I'll tell you a secret, and that now it's going to be live streamed. But we're working with Kyle Abraham and recently now, and we worked on the Mozart piece together. And when I writing the music for him, none of those songs have titles, and he's been performing them.
Yeah.
They have no titles, and I feel so bad because I'm like, I have to title this at some point because it's gonna be eventually it's gonna be an album, and I'm like, Jay, you got to title this stuff. And Kyle, he's so patient with me because I'm like, Kyle, I know I haven't titled this yet. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out as we go. So, yeah.
Work on some math problems, watch a movie.
Well, yeah, watch it. Yeah.
Right at the point.
Exactly, right at the point. There's the title, right, exactly.
Yeah. I like this question a lot, and I saved it for last because I want to know this too, and I think it'll be inspiring for a lot of people here who've tuned in. You seem so determined. How do you keep going when you get stuck?
Usually after I declare my hatred for the world. No, sometimes I have to, in many ways, sometimes I have to cry it out. My mother's she's a big foundation for me. She can tell when I can't, when she knows I'm like stuck in a space. She can hear it. Sometimes I just have to cry it out. Sometimes I know you need to walk away. You have to walk away. I think balance is very important because if you overkill, you won't find what you're looking for. You're standing right on top of it, but you're so close you can't see it. So you have to back up. And then there are those times too when I have to cut the distractions, just completely like, I won't listen to anybody's work. And so I can hear my own. And, just having to go back. That's why I said sometimes, like earlier, I said that listening to something like Dark Energy, and I remember that fight. And then I have to go find that fight again because I know it's there and I have to pull it out and it's hard. And that's why I often use the analogy of a diamond. It's not, in order for that coal to become a diamond, the pressure is enormous. And it's not that I'm feeling the pressure of other people or not even, it's not that, but there is something that I'm always trying to be my most infinite self in that space at that time of whatever it is or whatever that occasion is. So I pull as hard as I can. And that is my drive because I want to master myself. I really do. And that's a constant evolution every day. And it's rough, it's hard, it's fun. It's, some days I'm just like, I can't deal with anything today. And then other days it's like, I can take on the world today. But that's all a part of my journey, and I embrace it all because it's all a part of my journey. Every second of everything that I do, all the bad decisions I made, and I don't call them mistakes because I was conscious when I did them. So, all of the bad decisions I made, all of that makes up who I am right now. And the future bad decisions that I make, those are learning moments. And that's what I try to, my vulnerability that comes out in my work. And that's what I try to exude the most, is that.
Wow. Jlin, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
for letting
God.
us go on this journey with you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for always being fun to talk to and inspirational. And thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank you to our live studio audience.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you here. One more big round of applause for our amazing guest, Jlin. If you liked tonight's program, please like and subscribe here on YouTube. Visit Jlin's website, visit our website for our upcoming shows, either in your area or online, more cool streaming activities like this. And we hope to all see you very soon. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good night.